Lamad mi Rabbi. I learned a lot of Torah from my Rabbeim, and even more from my Chaverim, umi Talmidai Yoiser Mikulo. And from my Talmidim, I've learned more than all of the above. This Chazal came to mind. It's not from the prepared text. It's just listening to what was going on here tonight. I'm pushed overcome. You've heard till now the Rabbi side, Yeshiva, Shlita from Chicago, going to Avraham Chaim, was gesund und stark, was mechabed us, to come speak about his favorite Talmud. When I called him, I said, maybe you could come. I know it's not easy, a trip, work it out. And here, he says, Elimelech is my son. How could I not come? That's the relationship. And you heard it today. And the message is his son. He spoke about the brilliance and how he came and how he grew. And the message is, Chazak, Chazak, v'nis chazek. I lost the son, but Rabbi said, you got to keep going. You got to be strong. You got to move ahead. Don't think and don't drown in the loss, but have vision for the future. The Rabbi said, look what kind of Rebbe, and that's what Rebbe Elimelech in his whole life was always upbeat, forward, intelligent, brilliant, never broken. And he had a lot to be broken for what he made through in his life. B'Talmidai, you heard what 3 people, the chairman and 2 speakers. Look at the elevation of his Talmidim. Look what he did for them. Look how he transformed their life and uplifted them. I'll never forget. Very well said, Mark. When Eddie came into Yeshiva, I'll never forget it, and I've repeated it. And he said, you know, I want to learn. I finally want to learn something. I want to learn. I didn't believe him. Anyway, I don't want to go into that whole story. He really wants to learn. A man who's in business is successful and in and there is driving Rolls Royce. He wants to learn. Come on, it's just a thrill. You know, it's just one of these, the green ties and the things. You know, it's all part of that thrill. You know. So, I didn't believe it. It was like the memes, and he knows I didn't believe it. And I put him to a test. After a week, I said, you passed the test. Okay, now we'll get you somebody to learn. A few weeks later, he was at a dinner, and then it was his partner, Dov Walowitz, gets up and gives a whole spiel about Eddie Chernoff is learning, and 800 people are coming over to him. You're learning Rambam, Ravid, Tosefta, Yerushalmi. I said, I'm learning Chumash. Chumash? That's all you learn. He came broken the next morning. He says, Rabbi, these guys are looking at me. What am I? I said, Eddie, don't worry. You start for Chumash. You keep working your way up. That's the Miyala, and that's what Rabbi Kohn did. And he poured him from level to level to level to level. Did you hear what kind of speech he said here tonight? Magnificent. A Kiddush Hashem. Richard. In a million years they couldn't have said such a drosha 10 years ago. This is when you sit and you learn Torah. And you learn from the Rebbe that's there to inspire you and to elevate you and to transform you without one word. He said it very good. There's no real rebuke, no real musar. It's just gentle, and the Vax, the Mikrei. It's unbelievable, unbelievable. That's what we heard here tonight. Me Rabbi Sai and me Talmidai. Rabbi Sai, I'm going to talk about the perspective of Mechaverai. It's more than 40 years. And I knew about Elimelech. They came to Telshe Yeshiva. And if it was the first year, the second year, we connected. We made a chavrusa sham. And we learned. And I say, I'm sure there's contrasim that he has written down. And the sugyas of Hadlokas Neir Shabbos and Kvod Shabbos and Oinik Shabbos. We went through in Yonim a magnificent chavrusa sham. Years. We learned different in Yonim. After I got married, he came to my house, Geseder, and we ate, and we verbringed, and we talked about große Sachen. And Baruch Hashem, that Chaverschaft kept going. We became colleagues here in the Yeshiva, and Habotzas HaTorah. What's the secret? Where did this all come from? What's the secret? The famous Chazal in Avos Rav Nosson, what was the beginning of Rabbi Akiva? Ma hoya tchilose shel Rabbi Akiva? Omru ben arboim shana hoya v'lo shana klum. Rabbi Akiva was 40 years old and hadn't learned anything. Pam achas, one time, hoya oimed al pia be'er, omar mi chokek even zu. Who carved out the hole in this rock? The Vilna Goyen has an added girsa. Hoyo oimed al pia be'er. Omar, he said, Mi chokak even zu. Who made this hole? Who penetrated this into this rock? They told him, Hamayim, the water, Shetadir Neuflin Aleh B'chol Yom. It's dripping water and it drips. Don't you understand? V'hoya Rabbi Akiva matmiya al zeh. And Rabbi Akiva was wondering, what is this? What's going on over here? Don't you understand? Don't you see this every day? When water drips, it makes a hole. And even rock. Drip, 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 penetrates. It's a law of nature. We see it 1,000 times a week, 1,000 times a year. Rabbi Akiva knew the answer. They told him the answer and he understood it. I don't understand it, but I know I see it every day. But explain it to me. How does water penetrate rock? How does that work? And then he figured it out and he said, if water could penetrate rock, Torah could penetrate my heart. The tchilosoi shel Rabbi Akiva was, he didn't take anything for granted. Things that we see every day, and we experience it, and by the fact that we see it every day, we just pass it by. Rabbi Akiva didn't just accept something because that's the way it is. I want to understand it. What's the science? How does this work? Explain it. He researched it and he thought about it, and he got to the end of it. And when he got to the end of the secret that water can penetrate rock, that's when he understood that Torah can penetrate a human's heart. The kunst is to think and analyze the most simple things, to understand them intellectually deep, with analytical skills, and get to the bottom of things. That's a moiridika koyach of not taking anything for granted, but trying to figure them out, and have that thirst for knowledge, that thirst for understanding. What is the secret? What's this all about? I gotta understand it. There's a kapitel in Tehillim Kuv Zayin which talks about the 4 people that have to thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu for their going through difficult periods, being in jail, going overseas. And one of them is the description of somebody who's very sick, is ill. And Baruch Hashem, he turns out and he has to say, bring a korban toid. And David HaMelech describes him. Kol oichel tesa'ev nafshom. All food lost his appetite for them. It became ta'ev, he's not interested. Vayagiu at Shari Movis. And they reached the gates of death. Vayizaku el Hashem, and they called out to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Vatzar lohem mimitzukaisehem yeshihem yishlach dvore v'yirpohem v'yimalit mishchisoisam. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives him second chance of life, and you have to bring a korban toid. Yoidu Hashem chazdoi v'niflois l'bnei Adam. David HaMelech's description of a deathly ill person is the loss of appetite. Kol oichel tesa'ib nafsho vayagiu achari moves. As long as a person has appetite and he's hungry and he wants to eat, he's alive. Appetite is the siman of chiyus. That's the siman of life. The loss of appetite, oh boy. Vayagiu achari moves. It has nothing to do with what I'm saying. I remember when I went to visit Rabbi Elimelech, it was on a Shabbos, and he came to the meal, and Baruch Hashem, he ate the chont. I was so happy. Their kids remembered. I said, Baruch Hashem, he has appetite. Do you see? Shleim, you remember it? I said, you see he's eating? I told the rabbis, and you see he's eating? He's still healthy. Baruch Hashem, he's healthy. He's eating. Every lesson. Appetite, hunger, wanting food, sustenance, that's the siman hamuvik and brius haguf, on the health of the body. When the body wants nourishment, what gives it nourishment? The body is healthy. Because that's why HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world. You need food and you're hungry for food. When you're hungry for food, you're a healthy person. V'hanefesh lo yisimolei. The nefesh will never be fulfilled, says Shlomo HaMelech in Kehelis. Sagen Chazal, what does that mean, v'hanefesh lo yisimolei? The soul is never fulfilled. It's always hungry. It always wants more and more. Another blot, and a deeper understanding. And I learned it once, I'm going to learn it a second time, learn it a third time. And I'm never happy, never satisfied. If hunger is the ultimate siman of healthy body, the thirst for knowledge is the ultimate siman of the healthy soul. V'hanefesh lo yisimolei. Never will be fulfilled. Always yearning. Always more and more and more and more. Rabbi Elimelech had a tremendous thirst for knowledge. Tremendous. I never saw anybody with such a thirst. There was nothing in the world that didn't interest him. Nothing. And nothing he took for granted. I want to understand it. I want to analyze it. I want to read about it. If I want to read Chazal, and I want to read Shailatul Tshuvas Rashbatz, and Tshuvas Tashbatz, and who knows what kind of svarim, how does Tshuva work, how does it mean, all kind of inyonim. He was thirsty. He had to understand it. He had to understand the science of the cell phone, and he had to understand how does electricity work, and how does this medicine work. He was always thirsty, nights and days, to understand, to verstehen, weiter, weiter. V'hanefesh lo yisimolei. Ruchnius is endless. The hunger for food, when you eat a good meal, you get filled, and then you're not hungry anymore. You're healthy, but you filled your hunger. The hunger for nefesh, the hunger for Torah mitzvahs is lo yisimolei. You know why? Because Ruchnius is endless. And if you're thirsty for Ruchnius, it's an endless thirst. Gashmius, mundane, has a finite. It weighs 10 pounds. It's 3 feet long. It's 6 feet wide. There's a finite to every davar Gashmi. You're hungry as much as you could eat. That's as much, and then you're full. Ruchnius has no measurement. It's endless. Nitzchius. Forever and forever and forever. Every Dvar Torah is endless. With this Dvar Torah, you can understand that Dvar Torah, and with that Dvar Torah, you can understand another pshat, and another pshat, and another pshat. Anybody that went to Rabbi Kohn's shurim knows exactly what I'm talking about. It just never ended. Just more and more and more and more. Because Ruchnius does not end. V'hanefesh, the hunger for Ruchnius, lo yisimoli. Because you're hungry for an endless thing. Rachel Imeinu complains to Yaakov in last week's parsha. Havali bonim, give me children. Daven for me. Pray that I should have children. V'im ayin, if you don't pray for me, you don't daven for me that I should have children, meisa anoichi, I'm dead. What does that mean? I don't have children, I'm dead, you're alive. Zog the Maral, and Gurari, Pshat and the Rashi. Chaim is a dover she'ein lekitzvah. When you talk about a well that continuously gives water, you call it a be'er, mayim, chayim. It's always continuous. It gives water and water and water. The spring doesn't end. It just continues to give. That's called chayim. Chayim is something that is endless. Said Rachel, the real life is when it continues on. If I'm going to have children, and my children will continue on, and my children will have Nachamel children, then my life is a life. It doesn't end. But if I don't have children, and my legacy ends, Meisa Anoich, I'm dead now. It's a finite. It's just ended. V'hanefesh lo yisimoli. See these tapes? It's endless. This is Nitzchias. This will never end. This is a Chaim she'ein lahem soif. The inspiration and the Torah that was taught to so many Talmidim and so many people is ein lahem soif. The Rosh Yeshiva spoke about not to be broken, but to know that chazak, but you know pshat, because it's ein lahem soif. In this world, it lived so many years. But the truth is, it continues on. In the children, in the Einiklach, in the Talmidim, in all the Torah that he learned, and it's endless. Where